Testing, testing. That's microphone checking. Some opinions. Let me move the arm. Far. Guys, I think I know what that is. Give me 1 second. I think it's my mixing app.
Test. Let me see if this microphone is working. There we go. Hello. I gotta tell you guys, this is my new app. Well, I'm testing. And what it does, it plays all kinds of different voices. And I didn't realize it was still on. How funny and creepy was that? So that wasn't me, but I'm here now. So come on in, come on in. All right, so greetings and greetings to you all. Welcome to our Tell All Tuesdays. Your host, Madem-Oiselle. Stop. Here we go. Let me check. Please let me know if anybody can hear me. I just want to make sure. I cannot hear myself. Let me test this. Testing. All right. Perfect. I think I can hear it now. It's just something else where my volume is going. Let me see if I take this out. Testing. Alrighty. So the saga reveal is live. We are on the tube live on air. Let's chat and gab. Remember, this channel, guys, is just for commentary and entertainment only. Please hit the like button, subscribe for the Tell All Tuesdays notifications. And here we go. What do I want to share with you? Give me 1 sec. I am just trying to still check my own headphone. Why isn't it picking up? I could hear it. Not here. Test. Checking. Oh, much better. There we go. All right, so here, let's start with the trial. Let me recap for you guys. So basically, there was 2 co-defendants left, and the prosecution rested, and the defendant were pretty much like, yeah, well, we're gonna rest as well. Like, we don't want to keep going really much here because we think we have something good that might just end this case for everybody. So basically, this is what happened. Let's start with the 3 charges that were removed from this young man here. Let me share the screen. Share the screen. Here's the window. Here we go. Audio is on. Alrighty. 3 charges were removed. Sorry. I'm going to start it all over properly. Let's go because Doug was amazing. Okay, guys?
It's a hybrid gang. Ooh, a hybrid gang. This is fascinating. Let's talk about hybrid gangs. What's a hybrid gang? Oh, a hybrid gang is a point in time to fit our narrative. That's what a hybrid gang is. I use the term nose of wax. They can twist it any way they want to fit the group of people they want and say they're a hybrid gang. It's a catch-all. It's a catch-all used to throw all kinds of people together and say, well, you don't meet the definition of a gang, but because we are gang experts that train each other, we have decided you are a hybrid gang.
A hybrid gang. Careful.
Well, hybrid gang. So a hybrid gang apparently is one where, according to their experts, Bloods and Crips can live together in harmony with each other. Here, there's any basic understanding of the way that gangs work. You've had the state's own witnesses come here on the stand and talk about how ridiculous it is that you can say, that anyone can say, that YSL is a gang when you can have Bloods and Crips and Independents and all of these people be members of this alleged gang. As Mr. Shart talked about, there's none of the traditional gang elements. There's no beating in. Anybody can call themselves a member of YSL. You know, someone, I guess, alleged there might be a $25 dues fee or something ridiculous to that effect. But there's nothing that shows them together as a gang. Oh, well, wait, they are a gang because look at these pictures of YSL wearing green clothing. That must mean they're a gang. You guys are mostly in blue and black. You associate with each other here today. Are you guys a gang? The state is all in red today. Are they a gang because they're all dressed in red? Poor Miss Hingerty happened to come in red today. I guess she's a member of the gang as well. It is absurd. Lil Wayne has ESPN on his arm.
That was hilarious. Yeah, sorry guys. I had to basically start over the video. But this is what it is. It's just a learning curve. Getting used to everything here and finding out if it's live or not. But yeah, this lawyer was amazing. You can see his colleague in the back is smiling. And like I said earlier, I do believe that he called her. I told her, come here with the red vest. We're getting ganged up here. So also another thing, there's definitely those gangs in the States, the Bloods and the Crips. And it's very interesting to hear Doug saying that in the YSL there seems to be a little bit of different type of maybe gang people or people that were in gangs before, and maybe, who knows, they found a haven in the Young Thugs music production. And you know what? If that is true, let me just say this: kudos. And it makes me really wonder, wow, this is very, very, very smart. I think maybe the young people are tired of all of these division, especially in the music environment, just to be artistic. And yeah, maybe that will help them, go towards the right way. Well, in the meantime, I wish them all the best if that's the case. Let's go.
ESPN. I guess Lil Wayne is surprised that he's a member of YSL too. My client's got ESPN on his body. No, that can't be because he was a football star and in his mind probably liked ESPN. It must be because he's a member of a gang called YSL. So it's wonderful that the state's gang experts have such insights into the mental thinking of my client and Lil Wayne and everybody else. Now, the state may say, well, they're not a gang, even though they all dress in red today, looking quite dapper. Because, well, they don't have some criminal objective. Well, I don't know. Let's look at the way the state indicts people. The state's around Investigator Viverito. Investigator Viverito is the last person I can find anywhere on video or that you've seen on video holding that missing $500,000 watch. Did she steal the watch? Was that an overt act and can further into the conspiracy? Maybe I should go to a grand jury and try to indict this. It's the state gang or something ludicrous like that. Everything gang investigators see is viewed from the viewpoint of it must be a gang. Mr. Kendrick, look at the photo they showed you of Mr. Kendrick in the bandana shirt. Go back and look at it in color. The gang investigator says it's red. It is orange. Orange as the sun. You look at it, you decide, don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Don't take the state's words for it. Use your own eyes. But when you're a gang investigator, everything has to fit the narrative. And that's the narrative. The snake on Mr. Kendrick's chest. Did he get that snake because YSL is a gang? Or did he get that snake because it represents the tree of knowledge in the Adam and Eve story? Well, they can tell you. I saw a mentalist Saturday night at a show, and this mentalist was amazing. This mentalist, you would think of something, and the mentalist would tell you, "Oh my gosh, you're thinking of a number between 1 and 50. It's 47." It was actually quite impressive. Apparently, Investigator Viverito and these other gang experts are mentalists. Maybe they will be at the next fundraiser I go to. I'd like to see some more of their tricks.
I'm done seeing their tricks. I don't know about you guys. Can you hear me? Yep. I am done seeing those tricks. Those tricks don't work for me anymore. Can't wait for these guys to just go away. Look at them. Miss Love cannot. She's really uncomfortable on that chair. She's scratching her head. She's grabbing her head. She's holding her head. She's holding her neck. And Miss Hilton, the poor guy, Mr. Atkins, is just sitting there still. Like he's the only one who looks very professional. Listen, lady, it's not enough you're wearing red. Like you just can't sit still on the chair. Anyways, let's go. It's very funny.
Mr. Kendrick does modeling shots. So someone will say to Mr. Kendrick, "Hey, hold this hat." Oh, that's gang. The hat has a rat with a line through it. That's gang activity. We're sending a message to everybody. There's a photo taken outside at the time of a video shoot for music. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. Gang activity. There's photos of Mr. Kendrick wearing clothes that say slat outside of a recording studio. More gang activity. More people trying to pull themselves out, get into music, exercise their First Amendment rights. More gang activity. It's just exhausting, folks. All right. The racketeering charge. Racketeering is very complicated, as you all know. And the state explained racketeering to you. So I'm not going to go into all of the details of what it takes for you guys to find racketeering. Although I do want to repeat, you have to find each of those elements beyond a reasonable doubt, and you're not going to be able to do that with Mr. Kendrick. So I only want to focus on a few parts. Just bear with me. It's late in the day. Late in the day. Just give me a little more time. A few parts of the racketeering charge. First of all, the state has not shown a conspiracy beyond a reasonable doubt. What is a conspiracy? It is an understanding to accomplish or pursue a common criminal objective. Criminal. There's been no common criminal objective shown. What has been shown to you and what was shown to you even earlier today? A series of independent, disparate acts over and over again. All kinds of different people committing criminal acts. I'm not going to argue to you that criminal acts were not committed, but they have not shown any relationship between these acts. They have not shown you anything that's shown it was done for a common criminal objective. That was not demonstrated. Again, as Mr. Sharp said, when Mr. Stevens was here, Tick, and Mr. Stevens was talking about selling pot, he did that for his own benefit. He's not paying up the ladder. And by the way, there is no ladder. Investigator Viverito told you because this is a hybrid gang, there's no structure to it. So I don't know how Mr. Tick is supposed to, Mr. Stevens is supposed to spread the money around. But it doesn't matter. They're going to say there's a common criminal objective. Nothing has been shown. Tick. I have to go on a side note on Tick, Mr. Stevens. Mr. Kendrick, Mr. Williams, they were trying to avoid the fate of Mr. Stevens. Mr. Stevens, remember, I'd love you to go back and listen, read his testimony. Remember, look at your notes. At the age of 11, society threw him away. They threw him away. They tossed him in juvie, where he learned about gangs and drugs and everything else. Threw his life away. And he's trying to get his life in order again. And he's dragged back into this. State says one of the objectives was money and power. Where's the money flowing? Where's the money? Where's the money coming in? The state had the power of the courts, their subpoena power. They could have gotten Jeffrey Williams' banking and financial records. They could have subpoenaed his accountants. They could have gotten all of that.
Yeah, pretty much. They didn't care about his bank account. Very strange for a RICO case. Like, how do you prove that they were in furtherance of a criminal, enterprise? So, yes, I was waiting to see that too. And trust me, we were still waiting for the RICO to be uncovered. But it seemed like we didn't really find RICO. We heard of it, but anyways, we're still waiting. The case is over. So let's go.
That to see the money flowing. Did they do it? No. Why didn't they do it? Well, I'm going to argue to you they didn't do it because there was nothing there. If they did it, it would undercut their case about seizing Mr. Williams' assets, about seizing $8 million worth of jewelry that he earned in the music business. about seizing all of those cars, about seizing the ring off of his finger and keeping it. We don't want to see those records because we don't want evidence that he earned all of this from his music and his hard work. No efforts of money and power as part of a conspiracy deriving from this gang. The judge is going to tell you in your instructions, mere association with an enterprise is insufficient by itself to establish a conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. Mere association. And that's what you have here, mere association. A bunch of guys that grew up together.
Yeah, mere association. You can see Miss Love just straighten up a little bit. You can see the judge is looking. I just loved watching everything here. Now that I'm watching it over and over, it is very interesting because, yes, definitely his client, Yak Gotti, was Jeffrey Williams' home. And that's the night they all got arrested for the RICO case. So they tried to put everything on him that was in the house, like as if it was his. So let's go. And this is pretty much what he's explaining.
Together, were around each other, and that some of whom were trying to make it out, and some of whom were trying to help others make it out. Mr. Kendrick was trying to make it out. Mr. Kendrick would not let himself be thrown away like happened to Mr. Stevens. So I don't believe there's a conspiracy that's been shown beyond a reasonable doubt. What else has the state not shown? Well, they've not shown a lot, but I'm just going to focus on a few. The state hasn't shown that Diamante Kendrick knowingly and willingly joined this conspiracy, and they must show that. Well, first of all, I understand their difficulty. I understand their problem. How do you show that you knowingly and willingly joined a conspiracy with a criminal purpose when one doesn't exist? So that's their first challenge. That's their first challenge. What did they do to try to show knowing and willing join? Well, he hung out with some guys that did some bad things. He allegedly is part of this YSL gang that's not a gang. And by the way, you heard testimony, Mr. Kendrick was signed to the YSL record label. So I guess he knowingly and willingly signed to the YSL record label, but that is not the same as knowingly and willingly joining a conspiracy. Depending on the outcome of this case, at least to this point, being signed to a record label, even a rap record label, is not a crime in the US.
And we're
all right, guys. Let me just
supposed to pretend that the state.
I wanted to let you guys know about this because we can hear it, and these are basically the three charges that were removed from the YSL jury instruction. Basically, the judge removed those charges. She will be the one directing the verdict on that one herself, not the jurors. And also, this triggered a bunch of overacts that the defense attorney wanted to leave in part of the evidence for the jurors to have access to. So the overacts are, so generally an overact refers to a specific and observable action or conduct that is taken by an individual, typically in furtherance of a particular purpose or intent. So this is what he was, Mr. Weinstein was sort of touching a little bit. So there's certain evidence that they will actually have to remove, and they've discussed about it earlier today. And their expert on RICO tried to salvage as much as he could, and the judge said no, because they are they are attached to the 3 charges. There you go.
Reporting live from the Fulton County Courthouse, Joylyn Macron, Atlanta News First.
All right, so let's go back here.
Also, this breaking right now at noon.
Let me just make sure I share this. Yes.
All eyes are on the Fulton County, a courtroom there. Georgia's longest running criminal trial is headed into jury deliberations. 2 co-defendants in the YSL RICO trial will soon learn their fate. DeMonte Kendrick and Shannon Stillwell. Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joylyn Macron joining us live from the Fulton County Courthouse. And Joy, before deliberations even got underway, the jury was given some instructions, correct?
That's right, Don. In fact, jury instructions are underway right now inside that courtroom. The judge explaining to the jurors the various charges on the table, the law surrounding those charges, and how that law should be applied to the facts that they've just heard throughout the duration of the presentation of this case. Now, the jury reconvened a little bit later today at 11 a.m. because it was a very late night last night. Closing arguments went until 8 o'clock last night. The attorneys, however, came into the courtroom at 9:30 this morning. They began meeting with the judge, talking about the jury instructions, making additional motions. And also this morning, the defense was successful in getting 3 of the charges against Diamante Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti, dropped by filing a motion for a directed verdict, which the judge did grant. Kendrick was facing 9 charges in all. Now it's just 6. That included conspiracy to violate RICO, murder, participation in a criminal street gang, 3 drug charges, 3 firearm charges. But again, brand new, 2 of the drug charges and 1 firearm charge have been dropped. Shannon Stillwell facing a total of 8 charges, 1 count of a RICO violation, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of participation in a criminal street gang, 3 firearm charges as well. Now, as soon as the judge does finish instructing the jury, there might be a break, or they could go right into deliberations. If so, deliberations could last late into tonight. If a verdict is not reached, then of course deliberations will continue into tomorrow. Reporting live from the Fulton County Courthouse, Joylyn Macron, Atlanta News First.
Also, this.
All right. So that was it. I just want to make sure we're not missing anything from this part. Oh, yes. This is. Let me share this with you guys. Put this on full screen. There we go. This is Mr. Shard, who is Shannon Stillwell's lawyer. And this was the part that got really hot because he's talking about 2 witnesses that were on a stand, and they were the prosecution witnesses. Somehow he's mentioning that those 2 witnesses might have had something to do. And why weren't they the ones being investigated? Since they lied and lied and lied. So let's go. Let me share this with you guys. Here's my window. Now I know. You gotta share the window.
Those are the 2 witnesses. And I've been doing this long enough.
Yeah,
They're horrible witnesses.
Here from the
They're
beginning.
and Kenneth Copeland. So the state has these two witnesses, Quindarius Zachary and Kenneth Copeland. Those are the two witnesses. And I've been doing this long enough. They're horrible witnesses. They're liars. They have every reason to lie. They have every motivation to lie. They are inconsistent. They tell different stories every time they talk about the things they talk about. The state knows they're horrible witnesses. But here's what happens. In closing, the state says, they're not our witnesses. We didn't choose those witnesses. They're Shannon Stillwell's friends. He chose those witnesses. That's their line. They might not use it now because I already said it, but that's their line. But let's think about that for a second. That's not their witnesses. First of all, they're the ones that called them to the stand. But that's not their witnesses. Look at this indictment. 28 names. Quindarius Zachary? See on this indictment? No. Kenneth Copeland. Is he on this indictment? No. Are any of us going to really sit here and pretend that if the state was really being honest about who to charge about the events in 2015, 2014, 2015, that Kenneth Copeland wouldn't be on that indictment? Kenneth Copeland was a one-man crime wave in 2014, 2015. Yet he's not on this indictment. Quindarius Zachary was a straw purchaser for guns. Quindarius Zachary was right in the middle, the impetus for one of the overt acts, the April 28th, 2015 shooting of houses. He's right in the middle of this. And they're not on the indictment? And we're supposed to pretend that the state aren't the ones that chose Kenneth Copeland and Quindarius Zachary as their witness?
Yeah, that was their star witnesses. Like star witnesses.
Witnesses? Of course they did. Of course they did. And why did they choose them? What are the qualifications that Kenneth Copeland and Quindarius Zachary both had when it really comes down to it? They're two people that are willing to lie on others to get themselves out of trouble. That was one qualification that they had. And two, they are two people that happened to put themselves in situations, serious situations, that would require them to lie on others to get themselves out of trouble. Those were their two qualifications. And the state said, sounds good. We'll sign you up. You're our witnesses. You're no longer on this indictment. Let's talk about Kenneth Copeland's credibility. So use the same test you do for those quote unquote expert witnesses. What's his bias, his motive? How's he come across on the stand? What are his motivations? Well, we know he really hates jail. That was clear. I submit to you that it seems that not only does he hate jail, but he almost has a mental disorder about, he literally said, I'd rather die than go to Rice Street. That's extreme. He's told us,
That is extreme. And apparently Rice Street is a horrible prison. Disgusting. They call the water in the shower nut juice. Like, what a description, nut. And Woody did actually describe it while he was on the stand. And he said it was clunky and all kinds of colors, weird, definitely not liquidy, that he didn't shower in there, and it smelled bad. It was, oh my God. Let me be honest with you. There is a report that came out of, I believe it was a couple of pages, A very, 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 very sad report where 3 prisoners died from infestations and bacterias from the jail. And you can tell when Mr. Shard is speaking about Little Woody, it's because, in such a way, it's because he did whatever he could to never go back to that prison. He lied, he finessed, he told them whatever they wanted to hear so he does never, ever, ever go to that jail. And I'll be honest with you, Woody's very smart, and there's a reason why he's where he is today. You know, he probably did cover his bum bum, like they say. He did cover his ass, I think. And it sounds like he must have to get a full immunity. So that's what we've understood. Even though it wasn't publicized, I don't think I was waiting for that. But yeah, I think he got full immunity. But anyway, let's go. I like Woody, and I don't want them to go back after him because he was quite entertaining. But yeah, thanks to the prosecution for their amazing star witness. Let's go.
I would do anything to stay out of jail. I would lie on anyone to get myself out of trouble. He has his own term for what he does, the finesse. He really hates jail. What else do we know about Kenneth Copeland? Well, we know about, I'm going to ask y'all to think back and remember this when he was on the stand, a case, 21 CP 197618, State of Georgia versus Kenneth Copeland. Remember that? When he was actually in jail and he picked up another charge because he claimed that a jail worker attacked him and sprayed him with OC spray for no good cause. And he brought charges or tried to bring charges against this poor jail worker. What do we know? The surveillance from the jail was pulled. The investigators looked at it, as they should. Even Kenneth Copeland, a known liar, when he makes allegations against the police, yes, it should be looked into. And it was. And what did they find? No OC spray was emitted. In fact, the officer that was accused didn't even have OC spray on them at the time. So what happened to Kenneth Copeland in that case?
Scratch.
Well, he was charged with false statement and false report of a crime, 2 felonies, excuse me. So as a result of his lie, he gets charged with these 2 felonies, false statement and false report of a crime. And it's pending, and it's pending, and it's pending. Then all of a sudden, as this case is ramping up, and Mr. Copeland's going to have to take the stand and be asked about his pending charges and his prior lies, all of a sudden, on January 18th, 2024, Fonnie Willis and her employee, Kenneth Hutcherson, quietly dismissed the case against Kenneth Copeland, the case of false statement, a case of false report of a crime. Why did they do it, according to that sheet? Was it, oh, we actually looked at the video again and it actually supported Kenneth Copeland? No. Was it the victim didn't want to prosecute? No. Prosecutorial discretion. But they decided it was in their best interest to dismiss that case against Kenneth Copeland before he testified.
All right, I'm going to end it there. But if you guys are interested, you know where to find the video on Law and Crime. But that was Mr. Shard. And I really did enjoy him mentioning that because it was very important for this case as well to point out those witnesses on the stand and how they were treated, right? And with that, I am going to share. Give me a sec here. Aha. I wanted to see this with you all. What's going on, Mr. Pierre? Let's do this. I heard Canada is reacting to the 25 tariff increase. Donald Trump. You know what? Let's get our shit together, Canada. What does he say?
Pour les Canadiens. Évidemment, M. Trudeau
Obviously,
et Madame Freeland
Mr. Trudeau
n'étaient pas prêts.
and Ms. Freeland were not ready.
Et il nous faut un plan.
And we need a plan.
When are they ever ready? My God, these guys were just like sitting there like, he's not coming. He's not coming. He's not coming. Well, guess who's here? He's here. He said it. I'm coming. The only one who was ready, I think, was Pierre. But let's go, Pierre.
Un plan pour mettre le Canada en
A
premier.
plan to put Canada first.
Pour l'économie.
Wow. Let's go put Canada first. Every country should put their country first. And that's what they keep calling a level playing field. We're starting to hear these little keywords here and there. I've noticed that. But definitely the 11 playing field is one person I've heard saying was Donald Trump the first. He wanted a level playing field for everybody and be fair. If that's what's going on, I'm keeping my eyes open and my ears open. Let's go.
A plan for the economy
du Canada.
and for the security of Canada.
Et prennent en compte
So taking about these three matters and taking into account the reality in which we find ourselves. On the economic front,
a une faiblesse
our economy has the most severe weakness since the Great Depression,
de ces tarifs.
and that's before the threat of these tariffs.
Notre PIB per capita est en chute libre.
The GDP per capita is plummeting. For 6 consecutive semesters, our per capita GDP has fallen.
Notre PIB per capita a tombé plus
Our
que
per
tous les
capita
autres
GDP
pays
has fallen
G7
more
depuis
than
les années
every other.
2019.
Oh oui, Pierre? Oh mon Dieu. Lord help us. Like, this is bad. They call it, this is alarming. Well, not enough. What do you call it? DEFCON 4, guys. That's how I would go and call it. Canada, I think we've been sleeping for a couple of years. We've been under the so-called charm of someone. Can't even say the name. But I think it's wearing off. The little magic spell. Let's go, guys.
G7 countries since 2019, which is the year before COVID.
PIB per capita est en
Our
effet
per capita
plus petit
GDP is in fact
qu'il y a 10 ans,
smaller
lorsque
than it was 10
l'économie
years ago,
américaine per capita
when the US
a augmenté de
economy
18%.
per capita had climbed by
Et malgré le
18%.
fait que le premier, entre 2000 et 2014,
Despite the fact that between 2000 and 2014, Canada attracted more investment from the US than
depuis 9 ans, on
the
a vu
reverse.
un demi-billion
For the last 9
dollars
years, we have seen
net
$500 million net
pour
leave
investir
Canada
aux États-Unis.
to be invested in the
Ça, ça
United
veut dire
States.
500 milliards de dollars, mais
That
rien.
means
Alors, en Amérique,
500 billion
quitté le
US
Canada
dollars have left
plus
Canada,
que le montant qui est revenu.
in addition
Les
or
Canadiens,
more than
la
the
plupart
amount
des
that has
Canadiens
come
vivent en
back.
pauvreté. 2 millions Canadiens
Canadians
doivent faire
are
un
living in
tour aux
poverty.
banques
2
alimentaires.
million Canadians need to use food banks. A quarter of our children are not eating enough. We have the worst family debt situation among all G7 nations and the worst real estate inflation that has caused the housing crisis. We find ourselves in a position of economic weakness after 9 years of increased taxes.
I look at him and for someone who wants to be our prime minister, he seems to be ready and knows there's a lot of issues by the way he talks. And he knows how serious this is. And maybe we need someone who's serious instead of someone who wants to play modeling shows, right? We have no time for modeling shows anymore. It's people's lives on the line, people's futures. So, listen, Pierre, let's see what your friend Doug is up to, because Doug seems to want to complain. Okay? Let's go find out what Doug is up to. Here, guys. Sorry. Let's see. Tide of complainers. Doug, get your shit together or move.
I found his comments unfair. I found him insulting. It's like a family member having you right in the heart.
It's insulting when we have a bunch of inadequate people around. It's insulting when, when you can't go and talk to your own prime minister, fix things up with your own country. Here you go. You want to be upset about Trump? Well, it's not his fault. You can blame him all you want, but what did you guys do, you buddies?
I spent a lot of time in the U.S., and I have yet to talk to one American that has any issue with Canadians. To President-elect Trump, there's no closer ally.
It's not personal. It's economic. It's for, wow. Let's go.
There's no other country in the world that has stood shoulder to shoulder with our American counterparts, our friends, our family. It's an insult to the 900,000 Americans that are living here in Canada. It's an insult to the 9 million Americans that wake up every single morning to produce products to ship up to Ontario alone. We hear the message loud and clear. The Prime Minister confirmed today that we're going to have a First Minister's meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. We need to make sure that he has a strong plan to protect and secure our borders and make sure we address.
Yeah, maybe you should have started with that.
The threat from the U.S. But again, we're the closest allies and friends the Americans have. I'm proud to
We'll behave like allies already.
stand in front of our flags of Canada and the U.S.
Maybe you should ask Jolie. What's with these deals?
I'll always be proud. I'll be proud to call thousands of Americans and millions of Americans our closest allies. And just a reminder to the American people, yes, it will hurt Canada. Yes, it will hurt Ontario, but it will hurt Americans. It will hurt their economy when 9 million Americans don't wake up to produce products for Ontario and Canada. And we want to work together. We are stronger together.
One of the really important things is that we be all pulling together on this. The Team Canada approach is what works. That's where, putting aside partisanship, that's where I reached out.
Did he say Team Canada? What is he talking about? Trudeau, what team are you in? Oh, Team Canada, apparently. I thought it was Team Trudeau. Whatever.
Out immediately to Doug Ford.
Half of the country wants you gone.
To agree with him that we would have a First Ministers meeting this week to talk about the United States. Talked with François Legault and some other premiers as well. There's work to do, but we know how to do it.
Do you? What were you doing all this time? Good luck. Too late. Sorry. Well. I just can't take it anymore. This is very funny. Like, funny. All right, guys, let me just see quickly. What do we have on X? I saw a couple of interesting things. Yeah, I guess it's a late night. We're gonna have to end the stream like that for now. Let's make sure we got this covered here. Yep. Let me come back next Tuesday, hopefully. The jury will deliberate and come up with a, let me just say, a not guilty verdict. That's what I am hoping for. Testing. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just want to make sure to cover that next week. Yeah. So sadly, we're gonna end the Tell All Tuesday, and I want to take this moment just to personally thank anyone listening or joining or in the future watch this video. See you all next week. Same tube channel, same tube time. And signing out here, your host, Madem-Oiselle. I'm going to leave you guys with a little AI video. Actually, it's an outro from my stream, and it is one that I got from the Sinuo app. So let me just put on the banner here for anybody interested. Right, the Sinuo app, and yeah. Let's remove. Yeah. See you all next week.
La lumière danse dans ses yeux, elle cache un secret en Dieu. Chaque matin un nouveau mystère, Mademoiselle vit sans frontières. Les rues murmurent des contes d'ombre, elle marche comme un rêve sombre. Tous les jours un chapitre écrit, des légendes que le jour nie. Mademoiselle raconte la saga, les histoires que personne ne voit. Dans la nuit, tu dévoileras les secrets cachés sous ta soie. Un sourire garde des énigmes, des mots doux aux limites abîmes. saga. Les histoires que personne ne voit. Dans la nuit, tu dévoileras les secrets cachés sous ta soie. Un sourire garde tes énigmes, tes mots doux aux limites abîmes. Elle joue avec le quotidien, transformant tout ton destin. Les reflets cachent des vérités que personne ne peut interpréter. Dans son regard mystifié, un monde entier à déchiffrer. Un monde entier à déchiffrer. Oh Madem-Oiselle, raconte ta saga. Les histoires que personne ne voit. Dans la nuit, tu dévoileras les secrets cachés sous ta soie.